everyone, and welcome to Lady Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Marina Childress, and today is a very special one. It is our very first podcast, and I'm going to be sitting down with some incredible women that are the backbone and the glue that hold Lady Out Loud together. We're going to be talking about stories, what drives them, and how this team continues to grow together. So settle in and help me welcome the women behind Lady Out. Welcome to the Lady Out Loud podcast. I'm your host, Marina, and today is a very exciting day. It is our very first podcast, and I am here with Brandy Elrod. She is the woman behind this whole operation of getting this podcast up and running. Brandy, how's it going?
Hey, Marina. So I am currently in Ojo Caliente, New Mexico, en route to Arizona to teach two women's wing shooting quail camps. So it's cold. It's 22 degrees in Ojo. We just left Lubbock where we were goose and crane hunting. So I'm on
Yes, so fun.
on an adventure for the next 3 weeks.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, where are you from?
So I'm from Madisonville, Texas. So I'm literally halfway between Dallas, Houston, and Austin.
Okay. That's a pretty nice area. I've been out there before and it is beautiful, which, I'm from Central Alabama. So we have it's a little bit different. Scenery is a little bit different. A lot more trees. We have some hills, kind of hilly country. We're kind of in the foothills of the Appalachian Mountains. So, but it's absolutely beautiful. So, how did you get started in the outdoor industry? I know you do a lot of trap shooting. That is so cool. I love that, especially, bringing it to more women. Like you said, you're traveling to go teach. That's awesome.
So I actually grew up in the outdoor industry. My grandmother was a big outdoors woman, a hunter, all of that kind of stuff. And then my dad was a hunter, and I actually grew up on the back of a horse. And so the outdoor industry basically was literally it's all I know. From the standpoint that I'm in now, that started about 12 years ago. I started teaching at a private school, and they wanted a shotgun team. And so I learned how to shoot, learned how to coach, and the rest was history. And that led to just competing. And then became a really avid bird hunter. And that also led into teaching women and youth how to shoot and how to hunt.
That is awesome. And I feel like we need more of that too in the hunting industry, especially since the women's side of things is growing rapidly. There are more women that need to learn how to wing shoot, how to trap shoot, how to just, operate a shotgun and just learn the basics of that. I feel like that's very important. So that's very awesome that you bring that to the community and as you travel. So this podcast is Lady Out Loud. So it's kind of we're living out loud. We're, getting into like the nitty gritty things that, women do and experience and everything outdoors. So, what does kind of living out loud mean to you?
One of the things I literally just had this conversation. So with me on this trip, I have a 19-year-old that's in college and a friend of mine that's in her early 50s, a mom, a wife. She works for the government, and she likes to hunt. And for me, living out loud is I tell everybody, keeping money in the bank doesn't make memories. And so I live pretty fearlessly. I do whatever the heck I want. I mean, for instance, I'm going to be gone for 3 weeks. I'm very fortunate to have a job that allows me to do that, working remote. Thankful for Starlink. Thank you, Elon.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
but and I have no RV, and me and my dog just go places. I was literally at 4:30 this morning, was out walking her and ran into a couple of ladies, and they were obviously petting her, and they're like, "Wow, she's so well mannered." And I'm like, "This dog has been to more states than most humans in her 10 months."
She's a traveler.
Yeah, so that's what living out loud is for me. It's just embracing the outdoor world, embracing everything it has to offer, and just pushing it to the limit.
Absolutely. And I mean, I feel like it's so important. Life is too short. I like to travel. I like to meet new people. I like to experience new things. I mean, like, heck, this past year, I did more traveling than I've done in years, and then for this upcoming, 2026 season, I hope to do a lot more traveling as well, but I think it's so important, just to live your life out loud and experience all the great things that this world has to offer.
Yeah, I have a rule of thumb. I will try anything that won't break my left arm. So that is just because
Absolutely.
I'm left-handed. So I'm pretty adventurous. I like to try new things. My best friend always tells me, especially like when I go into bear country, she'll text me every afternoon, "Are you bear poop yet?" So
Oh my
that's just one of my things is I'm just a firm believer that we should live our lives and we should also help other people live their lives. And that's why I do so much teaching and I, just the brand itself, Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, that's the whole reason behind the brand is just really empowering women and promoting women and helping them get outdoors.
And that is wonderful. I mean, that's so important. So, moving forward, do you have any specific goals or anything that you would like to achieve for this brand new year?
I really for me, no. I never do New Year's resolutions. What you see is what you get. I think resolutions are dumb. Um,
Agree.
a goal wise, I mean, I personally, I just want to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm gonna knock off a couple of bucket list items this year. I'm going iguana hunting, peacock bass fishing.
Yes.
I'll continue to still do my regular quail and pheasant hunting. We've already got our crane hunt booked for next season. We are now thinking about going goose hunting in Canada. I hate hunting goose, but I will go try it in Canada.
Hey, you
Uh,
might as well. I
yeah,
mean, why not?
exactly, exactly. That's how we ended up geese and crane hunting in the Texas Panhandle this last couple days was we were literally freezing to death in South Dakota hunting pheasant and wife who was with me, her dad was like, hunting? I was like, yeah. I was like, hey, let's find a crane hunt on our way to Arizona. And sure enough, here we are. We hunted some geese and crane. We weren't supposed to hunt geese, but the crane weren't working, so we ended up hunting geese. But so that's just my goal, just to continue to do what I'm doing, knock off some bucket lists. In reference to the brand, I just want to keep growing the brand. Adding a podcast was the smartest decision because, women love research, but they love to see other women, learning from other women. And we're such a digital world now. And
It
that's
is.
the whole point of moving to a podcast, moving to a newsletter. So you're getting more content, more education, more often at your fingertips.
Absolutely. And like you said, today is a digital world. So I feel like right now, podcast and everything, social media is such a hot topic right now. It is a great way to promote the brand and get awareness out there. Like, hey, like, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, you can still do the same thing that everybody else is doing. Just
Oh,
get
one
out, live your best life.
exactly, 100%. I mean, I've never been a feminist, but I've always been, I'm a very much a problem solver and I'll just figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a great way to be. I'm the same way too. I'm like, hey, if there's an issue or if somebody's having trouble with something, let's fix it and move on or I'll help you. And it's all about helping each other and kind of growing the community for sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, this has been great. I am so excited to finally get this ball rolling for this podcast. And I look forward to many more podcasts with you and hopefully in person doing some things, traveling. I can't see where this podcast will take us.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I'm glad you've come on with the brand. I am so looking forward to what you're doing. You have the network, you have the knowledge. And I think that the podcast and you as the host is really just going to open more opportunity for women and especially, all the women that you're going to end up bringing on the podcast and everything. Even just starting with the ladies of LOL, that's huge. I mean, LOL, the women on that make up LOL are just such a diverse group of experts and just amazing women. And so I'm excited to watch the episode once you have everybody together.
No, I
And
can't wait. I'm so
yeah,
excited.
So, and I'm so, excited to see, as the year progresses, how everything goes.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't wait. Well, Brandy, thank you so much. And as always, it is a pleasure talking with you.
Same. All right, ladies, it was awesome kind of telling our story, and I hope you guys keep living out loud.
Absolutely. And stay tuned as for the next few episodes, we're going to be interviewing some wonderful, wonderful women. Can't wait to see. Welcome to Lady Out Loud podcast. We are back with Ashley today. She is a really sweet friend of mine. She does a lot in the outdoor and hunting industry. She does a lot with photography. She is starting a blog and she also has built a community on social media for women in the outdoor industry as well. Ashley, welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited
Thank
to
you.
have you.
Yes, it's so good to be here.
So, kind of tell me about where you're from and what you do.
So I am from Austin, Texas. I don't claim that though. I work 4 days a week in Austin and then I pretty much head to South Texas. Leaky, Uvalde, the Frio River. That's kind of where my roots are. That's where I spend a lot of my time. My boyfriend, our hunting lease, all the outdoors activities.
So, Ashley, let's talk a little bit about kind of what you've got going on in your life right now. I know you are a very busy woman. I know you've been traveling a lot. I know you have been on the road waterfowl hunting for like the past, gosh, like 2 months, I feel like. Uh,
Pretty much.
yeah. So, let's kind of talk about that, what you've been up to, and kind of how your Facebook community group, Women Rooted in the Outdoors, is going for you.
So there is a lot going on. I did just get back from about a month-long trip. I went over to Arkansas and hunted specs, and I went to Tennessee for a couple different weekends to photograph women hunt, to waterfowl hunt myself. Spent a bunch of time in Missouri and did a waterfowl hunt with a bunch of women. It was a blast. It was a ton of driving, a ton of late nights, but it was a lot of fun. And that's pretty closely related with what we do on Women Rooted in the Outdoors, which is a Facebook group that a friend of mine, Marcella, approached me about. And she's like, hey, I really want to do this. I haven't really seen any women's groups that aren't upcharging 200% or charging a ton of commission, or there's drama, there's this, there's that. So I said, okay, like, let's kind of dive into it and see how it goes. So we started it. We're almost up to 1,000 members in just a couple months. We've hosted a couple trips. We have more coming in 2026. And it's really just a place for women to not just come and join trips, but share their experiences and kind of get out there and explain, hey, I got this buck today. It was my first buck. Or, hey, I killed my 200th bird, whatever they want to say. It's kind of for all experiences and all women, really. There's no limitation to it. And it gives us a platform to be able to host those trips really not for free, but in the sense of commission and markups and all that. Like, we don't charge those things. Like, we want to go on the trips also. So that's kind of how we charge the women. And it's gone really, really well. We have a ton of things coming up for 2026. Just added another paddlefish trip, my favorite in Oklahoma. It's a
Love
ton of
that.
fun.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. And then we will jump back into kind of the fishing stuff over the summer and then right into waterfowl and turkey and all the things come the end of the year.
That is so exciting. And I
Yeah.
feel like it's just so important to have a women's group that is just so strong and doesn't do any drama. And it's just about getting more women involved in being in the outdoors and just experiencing everything life has to offer.
Absolutely. And I think there's a ton of women's groups out there that are wonderful. Like, we aren't doing anything super unique and different,
Right.
but it's just more of kind of a smaller group, more quaint. A lot of us know each other. A lot of us don't know each other, but we'll meet at some point and then just kind of carry on from there. It's just a more kind of cozy environment in my mind.
And that is wonderful. I mean, and that's kind of like what me and Brandy were talking about earlier. What does living out loud mean to you? Since this is LOL Lady Out Loud, it kind of corresponds with the same thing. You're living out loud, you're experiencing new things, whether it's meeting new people or trying something new, like whether you've never duck hunted before or whether you've never bass fished before, just getting women out and experiencing all these new different things. I think that's so important and, not dealing with any drama because
Well,
nobody.
and creating that welcoming environment that makes the newcomer feel just as comfortable as the person that's been doing it for 10 years. I think I personally fall kind of in the middle of that. Like, there's certainly don't know everything. There's plenty for me to learn, but I've also been doing this a few years and have done just about everything. So I think it's an environment where you bring in those newcomers, you bring in those like OG experienced ladies, and everyone feels the same. They're just as comfortable, they're just as confident, and they're having just as much fun. And that's what I feel like we were really missing in some other women's groups. It was okay, this is a beginner hunt. It's only for beginners. And then you're sitting there learning how to like load a shotgun for 2 hours. Like,
Right, and you have
that's a
women that
lot.
already know how to do that, so it's
Yeah. So we certainly are willing to teach those things, but it's going to be a hey, we're going to learn while we're in action. We're going to learn while we're on the hunt in a very safe manner, but we're not going to sit in a classroom for 2 hours and show you how to load a shotgun.
right. And
So,
like you said, it has to do with a lot of where your experience level is at.
yeah,
You have some women, I know a few girls that they just started hunting a year ago. And I mean, they've already learned so much and they love it, but it's because they have these other women that help them along the way.
it makes all the difference.
It does. Absolutely. So I know that, you have already had a busy waterfowl season. So what are any upcoming goals that you have for the 2026 season?
Oh my
Hunting,
gosh,
outdoors,
so
wise,
many.
fishing. I want to hear it. I want to hear it all.
I know. I think this is more of like a personal goal. It's not like super hunting related, but I have got to get better at time management. Like, and I learned that on this month-long trip. Like, so many of us want to travel and hunt, and we have FOMO, right? If we don't go up to the
Yeah.
hunt 6 states away. And on this trip, my gosh, I was in Arkansas, Tennessee, back to Arkansas, back to Missouri, back to Tennessee. I was all over the place.
I know I
And in my
couldn't keep
head,
up with you. I'm like, where's she at today?
couple girls messaging me on Instagram and they were like, "Wait, are these from the other day?" And I was like, "No, I'm actually back."
No, like I'm in another state today. I've moved on.
Planned it awful. Now it all worked out. I had so much fun. I don't regret anything. But I think when it comes into this hunting world, like you've got to have some time management and you've got
You
to
do.
have the ability and the strength to say no. And
It's
I don't.
hard. It is so hard. Like I feel you 100%.
Yes, someone's like, "Oh, the pond's full. You want to come over?" And I'm like, "Well, it's a 9-hour drive. I guess I can make that work.
What? I might could swing that, Yeah.
Who needs sleep? I can make it happen."
Right. I know that's like me and Jonah were talking about it was like yesterday, I think we were talking about it, but just planning out like our 2026 hunting season. There's
Yes.
so much that we do. And it's like, okay, well, what about this weekend? Well, no, we're gonna be here this weekend. What about
Yeah.
nope, can't do that either. So it's like, well, dang it. How are we gonna fit all these trips
Yeah.
into a 12-month calendar? And I love doing, what we do and everything. And I feel like it's such a blessing to be able to travel and be able to hunt and see the country and everything. Cause I know a lot of people and a lot of women aren't able to do so. And, I think I don't know, it's just something that I don't ever want to take for granted.
Absolutely. I think it's a huge blessing, especially those of us that like I have a full-time job. Everyone's like, "How do you
Yeah,
have a
I do
job?" And I'm like,
too.
"No, I really do. I have a full-time like I have a career. I am a accomplished woman if you want to
Yeah,
say, and I work so hard all year long and I'm blessed to be able to travel. I'm blessed to have a boss that allows me to travel. I'm blessed to have a boyfriend that honestly chases it just as hard as I do.
yeah,
And even as I start into this photography journey and start booking outfitters and booking hunts and doing those things, like that goes into time management also because I am going to lose out on some hunting time. Like there was a couple
yeah.
weekends already this season where people were like, "Hey, we've got like 600 geese over here." And I'm like, "I have to go take pictures." Ah! And it's a choice which again, I'm so blessed one to be able to travel for photography and be involved in it. I'm blessed to be able to hunt. So now it comes down again that time management like, okay, I'm going
Right.
to block off these weekends to build a business, build a brand, take these I say take these pictures like it's so just kind of general, but that's just how I talk about it. I'm like, "Oh, let me go take a picture."
Right. Let me go do, yeah.
Yeah, and then you take the time to edit and all these things. Well, then it's the next weekend already and you're like, "Well, am I going to hunt or am I going to do my job?" You kind of got to trade off on both of them.
I know. I feel like there's not enough hours in the day to be able to do, what all, kind of we want to do and accomplish and everything. And you have to look at it too, which I don't have any kids, but, you've got these women out here that are married and they have kids and they work and they still are able to take the time to go out and do the things that they enjoy. And I think that's so important because, like I was
Yeah.
telling Brandy, I said life is way too short.
Love those women the most. The ones that you see at
Yes.
home with the family and the kids. I don't have any kids either, but I have 2 dogs. Like, that's
Yeah.
somewhat
That yeah,
of a
my
child.
dogs and my 4 babies.
But you see these women who do have full-time careers, and then they have a full-time family, and then
Yeah.
they're still getting out on the weekends, and I love those women because they appreciate it in a way that, honestly, I don't even think you and I could understand. Like, we're
No.
grateful, we're blessed, but it's such a privilege for them, and it's so much work going into making the time and getting out there and being away from their kids for a few days. Like, some of these longer trips, you might be gone 3, 4 days, add in some travel time. I love those women.
I
And
know.
you can tell how much they appreciate it, and they're so much fun to be with because of that appreciation. They don't take it for granted. It's not about the content or the brands or the this, that, and the other.
Right.
It's about those birds or that deer or whatever you're trying to harvest, and it is
Yes.
incredible.
Yes. I know.
Yeah.
I love those women as well. But yeah, and I think too, like you said, like your goal for the year is time management. I think that is a wonderful goal. I think that's something we all can work on. Lord knows I need to work on it myself.
Yeah.
Um, because it's not enough hours in a day.
No.
But yeah, well, that is so awesome. So moving forward, what does kind of living out loud mean to you? I know we kind of touched base on some things about, being able to go and see and do, but kind of what does it mean to you and how would you voice that to other women?
I think living out loud is being yourself. I think so many of us kind of diminish ourselves or change ourselves to fit in or do this or do that.
Yes.
Living out loud, be yourself. Just go for it. I'm loud. I'm a little abrasive sometimes. Anybody that's hunted with me knows exactly what I'm saying. And some people love it, some people like it. The other ones, I don't
That's
know.
okay. That's you.
Yeah.
That
And
is
you just
you.
have to
That's
be
your
yourself.
personality.
Yes.
I
So
mean,
living out loud, be yourself, do your thing. If you want something, go for it, get it done, work for it. And if you don't know how, ask somebody. There's so many of us. My inbox is full of questions. Hey, this rifle, hey, this trip. Like it's just there's so much knowledge in the world there's too much knowledge to be afraid or hold yourself back or not do
yes.
something. And living out loud is just going for it. Just get it done. What's the worst that can happen?
Absolutely. And, like you said, it's kind of being yourself. Well, in today's world with social media, it's kind of hard to
Yeah,
tell what's real and what's not because,
absolutely.
a lot of things are very staged, unfortunately. But yeah, I think just going out, being yourself, doing what makes you happy, that's so important.
Well,
So,
I
so
think staying off the social media feed a little bit helps. During hunting season especially, I'm obviously always on social media, always posting, always sharing, especially on the photography side of things. But during hunting season, I kind of have a rule for myself. I stay off my feed quite a bit.
that's a great rule. I love
Well,
that.
because then you start comparing yourself to others, you
You
start getting
do.
that FOMO, and even, like, this morning, I didn't stick to my rule very well, and everybody's out bird hunting, there's cranes, there's geese, and I'm like, "I
I
guess
know.
I'll just
It
stay
feels
home."
so sad.
Right, and it makes me forget, "Okay, Ashley, you were just gone for a month living everyone's dream. You're okay to be home for a weekend. I leave in 2 days for Arizona for a week." Like, I'm fine. And I think during hunting season, it honestly helps me not do the comparison, not get tied up in the latest trend, the fad, the brand, the
Yes.
whatever, and just kind of remaining grateful and sticking to my plan in my life and what I want to do.
I love that because, like
Yeah.
you said, with comparison, I mean, and I'm bad about it too, just as like everybody else, and I don't know where we went when we started comparing, you know, things that are harvested, especially
Yeah.
like a deer. It's like, "Oh, well, this deer's 200 inches. Oh, well, this deer's, 100, might be
Yeah.
60, I don't know." And I hate that. I hate that because I feel like we need to celebrate even the small things, you
Well, I
know?
got my first buck this year.
I
I've
saw
shot
that.
I
That
know.
I know,
I've
that was
literally been
a
deer
hammer.
hunting. I've been deer hunting for like 10 years. I have shot so many does because I'm a meat hunter. I could care less about
Yes.
a trophy, right?
Yep.
But then I see these people with these trophies and I'm like, I kind of want one. That sounds nice.
I know, and
So,
it's so hard 'cause,
yeah.
you wanna compare. You wanna be
Well,
like,
and
"Well, dang."
my little 8 point buck, I'm so proud of it. I'm getting it
As you
mounted.
should
Like I'm
be.
getting a Euro mount and I want to put it right above my bed, and it's gonna look fabulous. But
As you
then you
should.
get on Instagram and you start seeing these massive, whether they're high fence or you get like some up north crazy wild big deer.
Yes.
And then you start to compare, and I'm like, well, my deer's kind of small.
No, I know, then you start doubting yourself and feeling bad about yourself, and it's like, "Well,
Yes.
should
And
I
we're
even
all
continue
guilty of
now?"
it. Yes. But you know what? At the end of the day, you kind of give yourself that check, you pray on it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm still very proud of my deer. And if anybody was in the blind with us, the way I shot that deer was so impressive. It's such a good story. And I'm so proud of it. And so that experience, you compare the picture, okay, just the picture on social media. But then you start to think, okay, well, I was standing on the edge of a tree stand holding a 20-pound rifle, like at an angle, half hanging out, and this and that. And then you start to think about the story and you're like, "Okay, actually, like, I'm pretty proud of this. This was pretty
Yes.
impressive." Like,
Yeah,
but
and
that's what
as you should be.
matters.
Right, that's what matters is, just being appreciative and respecting, your harvest, and like you said, there's a story to everything.
Well, and the story is what is like, that's what hunting is rooted in. We get
Absolutely.
so caught up in just the harvest. "Oh, is that a good picture? Oh, is my bird showing?" Who cares?
Right.
Did you have fun? Do you have a
Did you
story? Did you meet new
Yeah,
friends? That's what matters.
you are 100% correct. No, I love that because it's so important, to not focus on, this is a terrible shot, or, my duck doesn't look good, my deer doesn't look good, it's too small. I don't, don't focus on those things. It's not
Well, and
important.
social media has created that monster again. I
Yeah.
encourage everybody, stay off social media a little bit, especially during hunting season.
Yes. Yeah, because like you said,
Absolutely.
it will give you FOMO, and it will give you that little comparison that's
Yes.
like, "Oh, my buck's too small."
You gotta check yourself a little bit.
Right, right. Well, Ashley, it has been so great talking with you. I cannot wait to have you on other episodes, and
Absolutely.
hopefully we can do an in-person podcast soon,
Yes.
preferably at a hunt somewhere would be
I
wonderful.
know. We need to get something planned real soon.
Yes. Yeah, add it to the calendar of everything
Yes.
else we have going on.
Yeah, I'll say
But
yes to that.
yeah, but it has been so great, and I look forward to many more podcasts with you.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Hey guys, so welcome back to Lady Out Loud podcast. Today I have with me is Lauren. Lauren, it is so great to have you on the podcast. So where are you from? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live in Crosby, Texas. Kind of born and raised in Southeast Texas, and I live with my husband Doug, and we have a dog boarding facility, and he runs a fab shop, and we spend as much time as we can outside.
That is great. Yeah, I saw where you train dogs, and then you are also a writer for Lady Outdoor Lifestyles. Is that correct?
Yes, I do write for Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, and I have some labs I compete with on my own, and then I also show American Bullies, and then we've done some obedience training through the business and help as many gun dog friends as I can.
That is awesome. So, how did you get involved in the outdoors?
I was kind of my dad's son, for lack of a better description, and,
Okay.
went everywhere with dad growing up, and both my grandfathers hunted, and, my dad and my pawpaw kind of take, I guess, credit for getting me outdoors. My pawpaw's nickname at the deer lease was Dead-Eye Dean, and it was really important to him
Oh,
that I knew how to shoot a rifle and knew how to hunt and knew how to do everything in the outdoors, so I started off deer hunting quite a bit and then kind of fell in love with duck hunting. Doug and I went to school at Texas A&M in Galveston, and we kind of fell in love with duck hunting. We were living on the coast, and now we've done a little bit of everything, but dad and pawpaw definitely take the credit for getting me out there.
Lauren, what is a goal that you are currently chasing for the 2026 season?
In 2026, I'm really hoping to continue to hone in on my bird hunting skills. I have another pheasant hunt planned with Brandy actually in November. I'm looking forward to that. And then we'll continue chasing waterfowl on the coast. And then I am making myself step out of my comfort zone and I'm going on an iguana hunt in
So
May. That's
fun.
kind of a goal of mine. I feel like I get in my comfort zone and just do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
So I like to try new stuff, and then we're kinda starting to tinker with fishing offshore a little bit, so that's a whole new can of worms. So I guess a specific goal would be to shoot more than 1 pheasant on my pheasant hunt and to kill a few iguana and, maybe catch a new species offshore.
That is awesome. Yeah, I've never been on an iguana hunt myself, but I have heard it's so fun and so
Yeah,
exciting.
we'll see.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to let me know how that goes.
Yes, I will. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. So this podcast is Lady Out Loud, but I have been asking a lot of women, what does living out loud mean to you?
Think just being yourself and like it's taken me a long time to kind of be unapologetically myself. I feel like I spent a lot of time in my life, kind of trying to fit other people's expectations and be a people pleaser and make sure everyone's happy. Sorry, there's a fly. And I just like feel like getting out there and being yourself and making new friends and just being unapologetically you and whatever that means to you, whether it's trying new things or I love taking other women outdoors for the first time, and I feel like I mean, I could go on a tangent here, but I just feel like being yourself and, like, sharing your passions with other people is so important and just doing what you love to do, even if you are the only lady on the trip or you are the only one that, insist on bringing your dog or whatever it may be, just, like, doing what makes you happy and sharing your passions with others.
I love that so much. I know that's kind of been like the conversation with everybody is, just being there for other women, whether it's education or, showing them a new thing that they haven't done before and just kind of branching out and just,
Yeah.
being yourself. I
Yes.
love that. That is such a great answer. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for being on
Yeah.
this podcast. It has been a blast. I look forward
Well,
to many more podcasts with you and hopefully in person on a hunt somewhere. Yes, I think we're trying to get a group together from the LOL team to go on a hunt somewhere, and then we'll just do a big old podcast with
yeah,
everybody.
that'd be super fun.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I appreciate you joining in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking
Thank
forward to
you.
it.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another podcast of Lady Out Loud. Today, I'm in the studio with Katie Ball. Katie, it is so nice to meet you and have you on the podcast.
Nice to meet you too, Marina. I'm glad to be here.
Yes. So, kind of tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from?
I'm from Spokane, Washington. So if you're in the Pacific
Wow.
Northwest,
Okay, okay. So I know that you are a writer, is that correct, for Lady Outdoor Lifestyles?
I do. I contribute to every issue, actually.
Oh, that is wonderful. So kinda tell me a little bit about how did you become involved in the outdoors?
So in July of 2021, my husband and I bought an indoor shooting range and gun shop called Sharp Shooting here in Spokane. And I became real interested in the business, obviously, because I was invested in the outdoor industry. And so I started about 2 years later at that Sharp Shooting Girl Instagram page because I just felt like there needed to be more, I guess, middle of the road women involved in things, because so much of it is expert shooters, and that's awesome. But I think that for so many women, they needed more people right at their skill level, encouraging them to get involved. Um, who are coming from the same space. They're moms, they're working at other jobs. And so they're not a professional shooter, but they still want to be involved and they want to get better and improve and conceal carry and all those things. And so that kind of became my passion, was involving more women in the industry. And we're actually a women founded business, which isn't that common for indoor ranges, and so my mother-in-law founded sharpshooting in 1995. So when we took over, I didn't want our business to lose that like women emphasis.
That is so neat. I love that. Yeah, I do feel like there does kinda need to be more, like you said, middle of the road opportunities for women that are in the outdoor
Hmm.
industry, whether they're just getting started or, they've been in the outdoors, but they haven't really had the opportunity, to kind of grow and change. But I do think that's so important. But I love that. That is great. I did not know that. That's so cool that your mother-in-law
Yeah, I
started
know.
that.
Isn't that she's fantastic though. I'm lucky to have that level of
Oh,
mentorship,
that is
right?
so sweet. Yes, that is so sweet. But Katie, kind of tell me, do you have any goals for this 2026 season?
So my last child is in preschool this year. And so this is my last year before I have kids in school full time. So coming up in September, my ability to be more involved is growing, I guess. And so I really want to set the
Yeah.
stage for that and what I'm going to do next, if that makes sense. And so that's really my big like, okay, I've done this. I've done the like kids at home and staying at home so much. And so I'm going to work more in the range
Yeah.
starting in the fall, which will
Okay.
get me more,
Okay.
I guess, in front of local women, which is a goal of mine. And then as far as shooting goes, just consistent progress and improvement on that. I started shooting shotgun this year, like sporting clays. And so just more range time and continuing to grow the Sharpshooting Girl page that I run.
That is awesome. So do you do any wing
I
shooting?
haven't yet. So we bought a Vizsla. You're a dog person, right? Yes. Okay. So we bought a
Yes.
Vizsla in
Yes.
2019 because we didn't think we could have more kids. And then I had another baby. So I have this sweet, sweet bird dog that's never been trained for hunting. And so I'd like to get another dog and do more train for like upland bird. Because that's real big here in the Pacific Northwest. So I think that hopefully this spring you'll see a puppy in my future.
That's so exciting. I know. I love to watch a good bird dog work. That is my favorite thing ever. I mean, getting out and being able to hunt birds is great, but my thing is I love to watch
There's
bird dogs
nothing
work.
like it. And that's just, and my
No.
that Velcro dog mentality, right? He's my dog and he's on my
Yes.
side all the time.
Yep.
And so, but he's 6 now, right? And so I'm looking forward to adding to our little
It doesn't change.
pack of
Yeah.
dogs, I
Yeah,
guess.
I know. I have a GSP. Yeah, yeah. And they are such
Mhm.
Velcro dogs. I mean, I don't know what it is, especially about bird dogs, but they just have to be on you, near you all the time. It's like you can't have any personal
No, you
space.
can't have any. And yet they're amazing with my kids.
No.
Like, oh my gosh, that dog who will play with them until, he can't walk and they can't walk because they're so tired.
Right? That is so fun. Katie, this podcast was built around, it's Lady Out Loud. But what does living out loud mean to you?
I think for me, it's standing for my values. That's like one of the big things. And that can be scary, like as an outdoor lady, right? Like that
Yeah.
it's okay for me to not meet the mold of other moms, right? In the area that it's okay that my
Right?
kids like to go shoot sporting clays with me, right? And it's okay to do that on the weekend. And I
So
think the
cool.
same thing like with my social media type stuff is just giving women an example of the ways you can get involved in the outdoors and do so still raising your family, like building your business, and just kind of setting the
Yeah.
example that all those things are possible to do and still be like girly and, all the things that I still love, right?
Right. All the things. And that, I think women in the outdoor industry and hunting industry in general, there's such a
Hmm.
diverse group of women. So, like, you have your women that, like you have kids, you have your home life, you like to go and do things outdoors with, shooting and all the different things. And I think it's just wonderful that women can still take the time to be able to live that home life, whether you have kids or don't have kids, or, you work full time or whatever that may be, or you travel and you still get to live your life and just
Hmm.
enjoy it and experiences that are there, in front of you. I love
I
that
saw
so
something that was
much.
talking about fitness influencers that are like 25 and they've never had kids, and it's like, okay, and that's great and I admire that. But try being in your 50s and going through menopause and having young kids at home and a job outside of
Yes.
influencing or whatever. And it was like, that's the real flex. And I think that's the same for outdoor
It
women,
is.
particularly of like my 40-ish group, is the ability to manage all of those things and still pursue your love of the outdoors, shooting sports and all of those things, but manage them and make time for everything. And I think that's what I just hope to help inspire other women that they can make that time for themselves.
Well, Katie, I love that. That is so inspirational. Um, that's exactly I think what the outdoor industry needs for women to understand is that, you can
Hmm.
be anything you want to be able to go out and enjoy the things that you love to do. But that's so special. Well, it has been a pleasure talking with you. You are wonderful. I can't wait for many more
I'm looking
podcasts with
forward to it.
you. Hopefully, yes, hopefully the plan is to eventually get us all together from Lady Outdoor Lifestyles and do a big in-person podcast. So that's
I'm
the
looking
goal.
forward to
That's
it.
my goal. But like I said, it has been a pleasure and
Nice
I
to meet
cannot
you,
wait to talk
Marina.
with
Thank
you
you for
again.
having me on.
Nice. Absolutely.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye.
All right, guys, welcome back to Lady Out Loud podcast. I am here today with Miss Sharon. She is from Texas and she does a lot of hunting in the outdoor industry. I know she travels quite a bit. So let's get into it. Hi, Sharon. It is so great to have you on our podcast today.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So, kind of tell me a little bit about, I know you're from Texas, but I'm not 100% sure where you're from.
So I'm from a town, a suburb of Houston called Baytown, Texas.
Okay.
Currently, I live in Pasadena, so I'm really a city girl who wants to be a country girl. I grew up. My family had a farm, or my grandparents had a farm in Sour Lake. We grew rice and soybeans on the front half of the farm, and then on the back half, we had enough wooded acreage to hunt. So I grew up hunting with my dad and hunted from when I could fall asleep in the blind until I was about 18. And then kind of, life happened, went to college, got a job. I didn't get back into hunting until I was in my mid 40s.
Really?
I picked up handguns in my
Okay.
late 20s and was really a handgun person, 20s, 30s, and then started back up hunting in my 40s.
Okay. That is
Found
so
shotgun sports
interesting.
in my 50s.
Yes, yes, that is awesome. I know that's what me and Brandy we were talking about earlier this morning is, you know, shotgun sports, trap shooting, wing shooting, like that's becoming so very popular now and it's just it continues to grow. And I think that's awesome. So, kind of tell me a little bit about I know you said you grew up hunting, but kind of what are your other passions? What else do you like to do? Do you like to waterfowl hunt? I know you've been on some. Uh, what kind of tell me a little about what you like to do?
I enjoy deer hunting. I haven't been myself in the last couple of years because I've been on mentored hunts.
Okay.
But I picked up waterfowl hunting probably 5 years ago. I picked up pheasant hunting, upland bird hunting about 5
Yes.
years ago. This winter, I actually got to go on a snow goose hunt up in Missouri. That was my first hunt, truly out of state, although I've hunted in Oklahoma, but 30 minutes outside of that or outside of the border really doesn't count as
Not
out of
really that
state.
far from
It's just
home.
it's just
Yeah.
Oklahoma's just North Texas.
Right.
But went on a road trip and got to go to Missouri, and that was a lot of fun. I really love the camaraderie of duck hunting and snow goose hunting. I enjoy the solitude of deer hunting.
Yes. Yes, I do too. I like that peaceful time out in the woods. Leave me by myself, leave me to my thoughts, let me enjoy, the beautiful scenery that's around me. But like you said, the camaraderie of waterfowl, you get to kind of joke around with your friends and cut up, and it's a really good time.
Not having to be quiet all the time. Um,
Yes.
um,
Yes, you can be like,
I people, two sets of friends. I have my city friends and I have my hunting friends.
uh-huh.
And my city friends don't understand sitting in a deer blind and everything is absolutely quiet. I mean, the silence is loud. And then
Yes.
you start hearing your little insects, and then the wind will start to blow and rustle the leaves a little bit, and then the birds wake up. And if you think about it, you realize how loud nature gets once it wakes up. And you just
It,
hear the world wake up, and that is such an awesome, exhilarating feeling. And just knowing what God did, bringing this all into existence, it's just incredible. And
right.
then when you're sitting out in the evening, the exact opposite happens. You're sitting there in the quiet, you think, and then you realize how much quieter it gets because the wind starts blowing, the birds start chirping, the insects get quiet again, and it goes so deadly still and silent. It's just an awesome feeling.
It is, it is. I agree with you 100%. I mean, I love being able to see the woods wake up. And then, I love being able to see the woods kind of be put to bed. So it's, like you said, those two different sides of things. Um, like a lot of people don't understand, from the city. And I think sometimes we take that for granted that we do get to experience those things and other people that, aren't familiar with outdoors and don't hunt, don't fish, don't do all those outdoor activities,
Right.
they don't really get to see all that. So I think it definitely is a privilege for us to experience, that kind of lifestyle for sure. So is there a goal that you are currently chasing for this new 2026 year?
I really haven't set one yet.
Okay.
Several years ago, I had a goal of, okay, I want an alligator. I want to harvest an alligator. Okay,
Yes.
check. I tend to put my animals all on a single. I don't have a list. I go one at a
Yes.
time.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Wanted an alligator, harvested an alligator. I learned to call turkey, and I called in my first turkey on a solo hunt. That was
Really?
fabulous. And so now
Oh,
I really want to get a friend to go with me this year to call in a turkey for her. So we'll see how that
yes.
goes.
And that is such a proud moment too.
Man, and just watching them, hearing the call and response and know, hey, I don't know what I'm saying to this turkey, but he's saying something back.
Yeah, well, it must be good, whatever I'm saying.
He's listening, and then watching them come up and then just start strutting. That's just,
Yes.
it's a phenomenon like no other. But
You're exactly right.
alligator got called in my first turkey and harvested it. I really wanted to do the python. I've been watching Python Hunter do a
Yes.
python and an iguana hunter, and or
Yes.
iguana hunt, did that in 2025 in June. So that was awesome. I got a pair of boots out of my alligator. I want to, once I get the
Goodness.
python back, I'd really like to see what a shotgun case out of the python would come back.
That is so
Yeah.
neat. I
When I
love
started
that.
animal goals, an aoudad was probably the first goal, and I got that probably 5 years ago.
Okay.
I would really, really like to harvest an antelope. I just don't know that I can see that far. That's my problem. Number one, being able to get up into the Panhandle or in north of Mexico to get one, but then number two, and get the opportunity. But then, hey, I can't see. My sight sucks.
I mean, depending on, like, how many yards, I don't know. That's on my bucket list too,
Yeah.
is to harvest an antelope, and, I just put in for my tag. Wyoming opened up yesterday for the draw, so I applied for that, so we'll see if I get it or not. I don't know. I've heard it takes a long time for Wyoming, but we'll
And
see.
I would expect a 400-yard shot. I've only ever attempted that once and I missed, and it was really just on a lark. There was a group of hogs when I was hunting on our family farm. There's a group of hogs down the road. And in front of my cousin, she's sitting there. I'm like, shoot, Karen, shoot. Why are you shooting? Come to find out later, she was asleep. So I'm like, you know what? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So stuck my
You're
gun out the window, thought I could accommodate for the distance, and yeah, I just missed. But I
yeah,
woke her
400.
up.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet if she was sleeping. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that, you have a list of everything that you wanna accomplish and harvest, and I'm kinda the same way with things too. I have, like, a calendar of, okay, well, like, this hunting season, let's go here, or I wanna try something different and do this. So, but yeah, I know that you like to kinda travel around a little bit and do some different things.
Oh yeah, you can call me on a Thursday and say, "Hey, do you want to go?" I'm in Houston. Hey, call me on Thursday. Do you want to go hunting in Amarillo on Friday? Sure.
Yeah,
Get in the car and
sure.
I'll go.
Why not? I love that. I love when
Call in sick.
yeah.
Who cares? Just call in sick.
Who cares? And that's what, me and Brandy and Ashley were talking about earlier. Life is way too short. So I think that it's important that now that we, live life to the fullest, and, whether it might be taking that 1,000-mile road trip
Yeah.
wherever you're going just to experience something different.
Well, and I really had an eye-opening experience probably 2 years ago, 3 years ago. A friend of mine, he's a year older than I am,
Mhm.
retired police officer. He was in Colorado. I grew up with him here in Texas. He retired, bought property in Texas. He and his wife were moving down. They were building a house. They got here on Sunday, moved into an Airbnb because the house wasn't quite ready yet, and he died Sunday night. And that was a wake up call for me that you are not promised tomorrow. Don't
No.
wait until you retire to do something that you love. And that really, I don't know if that really affected me. And so I can't wait till tomorrow. I'm going to do it today.
Right. And that's how it should be, I feel like, because like you said, you're not promised any tomorrows, and, it's important to live today. And, me, like, I try to live having no regrets or anything, and just kinda push forward and do
Right.
what I wanna do when I wanna do it, and live my life how I'm gonna live it, you know? That's my motto.
Plan for tomorrow, live for today.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, what does this is, the LOL Lady Out Loud podcast, but it kind of, pertains to living out loud. So, what does that mean to you?
To make an impact on those around me, to express what being outdoors, handguns, shotguns, fishing, and
Yes.
how can I impact the next generation coming up? I was fortunate. I've been a handgun instructor for quite a few years, not shotgun shooting or shotgun teaching shotguns yet, but I love teaching women. Had a chance this October to mentor a lady that I had met over the summer, and she got to harvest her first deer, and that
Oh my
was
goodness.
a really exciting moment for me,
Yes.
and I know it was for her. But since that point, I know she's gone on several other hunts, and just getting the next generation into it. I don't have kids, but I can help your kids.
Right. And that's so important too. Just being able to help each other out,
Yeah,
especially being in a women's community. The hunting industry has grown tremendously
right.
within the past few years of women in this hunting and outdoor industry. Um, because for years and years and years, it's all been based around men. But, I think it's important to teach the next generation, teach women that didn't grow up, hunting, fishing, shooting shotguns, whatever that may be. It's just getting out and experiencing something
Right.
new and teaching others.
And teach them start to finish. How do you prep for it? How do you get out there and harvest the animal? And then, okay, once you harvest the animal, your job has just begun because
Exactly.
now you've got to clean, process, and get it home so that you can enjoy it, so that you can eat it. Feeding your
Correct.
family, that's a big thing.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a big factor of it too because and a lot of times which I'm guilty of it. Sometimes I'd rather take, my deer or whatever to the processor and let them do it for me, but sometimes you don't have those amenities to be able to do that. So you kind of have to clean the deer yourself and I feel like you get more out of it.
Well, and growing up, I mean, that was what we did. They out on the farm, get to cut it all up. You'd let it hang, and then Saturday evening or Sunday morning, I'm the kid. I'm the youngest out there. I'm sitting out there grinding.
And then you get to enjoy it later.
Way before electric grinders, I was the kid that had to grind.
My goodness. And that takes a while too.
Mhm.
Grinding meat, processing meat, goodness. Making jerky too. I love jerky. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I think just this podcast in general, I love what it is based around, especially getting women involved in the outdoors and learning more. And it's very, very important,
Right.
I feel like. But
And start small. Start somewhere. You just got to get yourself started, and then you can grow. But don't be afraid to women out there. Don't be afraid to just start.
correct. Yeah, like you said, you have to start somewhere. Well, it has been a pleasure talking with you.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
am so glad that we got to do this podcast together, and I look forward to doing many more with you,
Yes, ma'am.
preferably in person at some point. I was talking to Brandy and Ashley about doing a hunt together, and then doing an in-person podcast. So I
That would
think
be
that could
awesome.
be yes, yes. So that's in the works. Not sure when, but we'll have to start planning for it.
Just give me a couple days notice. Don't call me on Thursday
Yeah,
night.
sure.
Although I
Sure.
might could make it that.
Right, right, depending where it's at, Will not
Well, I'll drive all night.
Oh, I will too, I don't care. To be able to go somewhere and hunt somewhere, yeah, absolutely. I am all for it. But yes, like I said, it has been a pleasure talking with you, and I really appreciate it.
Have a great afternoon.
Thank you, you too. Guys, welcome back to Lady Out Loud podcast. I'm here today with Jessie. Jessie, it is so great to have you on the podcast. So just tell me a little bit about where you're from and what you do.
Okay. Well, first off, my name is Jessie, and I am originally from upstate New York. I grew up on a 300-acre dairy farm. So
Oh,
there's the outdoor part
okay.
of it all.
I love that.
Yeah. And then when my husband and I got together, he got me into hunting. Started
Oh,
off with bow hunting, got into rifle and shotgun hunting, and we kind of went downhill from there.
that is awesome. I love that. And then you also do a little bit of writing too for Lady Outdoor Lifestyles, I have heard.
I do. Yes, I do. I love everything off body carry.
Okay.
And when I got into the Rose community on Facebook with Lena Michalik, it snowballed even harder after that.
That is so cool. I love that. I love successful women in the outdoors. That is wonderful. So tell me a little bit about, is there a certain goal that you're chasing for the 2026 season?
There is. I decided that this year I am not buying any new firearms.
Okay.
I am spending all my money on training this year,
Okay.
whether it be classes, whether it be dipping my toe into competitions. I am all about using the gear I already have and applying it as it should be versus just collecting more firearms.
That is awesome. So I know a lot of the ladies on the team for Lady Outdoor Lifestyles do a lot of competitive shooting, like trap shooting, wing shooting. Are you involved in any of that?
I am not currently, but that's the goal this year. I'm going to start out with Steel Challenge, and we have a range right around the corner from our house where we live now, and they do local Steel Challenge matches and local USPSA matches.
That is awesome. Well, that is so exciting. I can't wait to see more and hear more about that and how it goes for you.
I'm excited.
That is great. So this podcast is Lady Out Loud, but I want to kind of know your thoughts on what does living out loud mean to you?
Well, if you ask my husband, I already have no filter.
That's great. We love that.
If it's here, it usually comes out here.
Okay.
So it just being truthful, sticking up for yourself,
Yes.
supporting other women in the industry. There's a lot of cattiness when it comes to women in the 2A industry, and I
It
hate that.
is.
I hate that. We should be supporting each other, not competing with each other.
I agree. I agree with that. And I have talked to so many other women who, have the same feelings about that and just the drama.
Yes,
Why does there have to be so much drama?
exactly.
There's no need for all that.
There
You know,
isn't.
let's just all get along and just all participate in doing the same things that we all love to do.
Yep.
But yes, I agree with that 100%. No filter. I love that. That is great. Well, Jesse, thank you so much for doing your introduction podcast with us. It has been a pleasure. I can't wait for this 2026 year to get going and kick off with the podcast. And I can't wait to invite you to many more podcasts and hopefully in the future doing an in-person one.
Well, absolutely. That would be fantastic.
Yes, yes. It's kind of in the works. If it's not going to be this year, we're hoping for next year to maybe do a women's hunt with all of us and do an in-person live studio podcast with everybody
Oh,
there.
that would be really cool.
Yes, yes. So that's being talked about. So fingers crossed. Hopefully we can get it done this year. But like I said, it has been a pleasure. And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much. It was good to meet you.
Yes, thank you. Welcome back to Lady Out Loud. I'm your host, Marina, and today I have with me is Tori. Tori, it is so great to have you on our podcast. If you don't mind just kind of telling me a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Yes, thanks for having me. So I am 33 years old. I live in Pennsylvania in the mountains, about an hour north of Harrisburg.
Okay.
I didn't always live there. I actually grew up in Amish country, Lancaster County, Pennsylvania.
Oh, really? That's so
Yes,
cool.
and I actually met my husband who came from the Amish when he was still Amish. We were working at the same place, a horse stable.
I love that.
And so we really hit it off, and it was funny how, two completely different people came from two different worlds, but
Right.
we had so much in common.
That is so neat. Yeah, Pennsylvania, I think everybody else has been from Texas. So it's nice to have somebody that's from Pennsylvania. That is so cool. So what are your passions? What do you like to do? What are your hobbies? And just kind of what gets you going?
I really enjoy preserving food and foraging, getting out in nature, going on hikes and stuff.
Yeah.
I love having animals. We joke that we have a little McDonald farm because we just have a little bit of everything. And so I really enjoy that and raising my kids in that lifestyle. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up on 0.32 acre lot in town down in Lancaster, but I always liked horses and animals. And so as soon as I got old enough, then I started acquiring them. And so it went from there.
Oh, that's neat. I love that. I love that. So is there a goal that you are currently chasing for the 2026 season?
Actually, yes. My husband and I are seriously considering moving to Wyoming.
Really? Wyoming? Okay.
Yeah, he used to go out there. That's a big thing for the Amish to go make hay out in Wyoming.
Really?
And so they go in the summers. So he was doing that, I think, about two summers before I met him. And I've been out a total of 3 different summers. I went for like a month and we helped with haying. This past year was the last time. And
we both love it out there. And
Yeah.
so we want to move out of Pennsylvania, just do something different. And we've talked about Texas, actually. We have friends in northeastern Texas, and we went and visited them last year, and we're talking about it, but we just keep going back to Wyoming. So I think that's kind of what we're going to work towards this year. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but like we
Yeah.
just love it out there. So
That is great. Yeah, Wyoming's beautiful. I've been out there before hunting, and it's just I love it out there. It's a whole different lifestyle
yes, definitely.
than anywhere else, but it's beautiful. Well, that is great. So, since this podcast is called Lady Out Loud, it kind of means, we really empower women, especially in the outdoors, whether it's, hunting, fishing, hiking, homesteading, all the things. So, what does kind of living out loud mean to you?
I think it's like kind of going to the beat of your own drum, not following along with everyone else, and
Yeah.
just having like the strength and conviction to do what you find interesting and being able to stick with it. And I really like Lady because that's what attracted me to it was all these like-minded women and just the whole idea of like trying to figure it out with other people and not just. I think I read somewhere one time way back about like husbands sticking their wives in the tree with this gun and you don't know anything about it, and it's like, here you sit
Right.
here and I do this, and like just the idea that we can actually know what we're doing, understand the guns, how to take care of them, how to hunt on our own. And I just really like that kind of fits with my personality. I've always been kind of an outlier, and so yeah, it just really seemed like a good fit.
Yeah, I think it's super important, especially in today's world, getting more women involved in the outdoors and, kind of teaching them, new things. And because there's so many women now that are getting involved, whether it's, hunting, fishing, all the things. And if they've never done it before, didn't grow up doing it, it's super important to kind of teach that and pass it along, whether it's, women, children, whoever.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
yeah, so I think that is awesome. Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you. I hope to do many more podcasts with you, and eventually, we're going to work towards getting a group together of all of the ladies, with Lady Outdoor Lifestyles and doing a big podcast with everybody. So hopefully that'll be
Wow.
in the works soon. But I really appreciate talking with you and you giving your time.
Sure, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, everyone, for tuning into our very first podcast episode of Lady Out Loud. I am so grateful to share this space with you, and even more grateful for the incredible women who make up the Lady Outdoor Lifestyles team. This is just the beginning, so stick around, stay wild, and join us as we continue to celebrate and empower women in the outdoors.